Something else I thought of when we are having the discussion posts every other week, every 2 weeks between the paintings, you're going to be posting the work that you've done, unfinished paintings, into the discussion board. And what I'm going to do is save them along with the image so that we can compare the image to your painting in progress. What I usually find primarily is proportions are off, angles are off, this shape of negative space in terms of rendering, these sorts of things. Values might be too dark or too light. We want to talk about technique. These are the things we're going to process with as a group in between in a written form. We can still talk about it at the critiques too. But I wanted to show you how I plan to work on your pictures. You'll send me a picture of your work in process, put it in the discussion board. People will comment on it, and you can do this as well. You can doctor it up somebody else's work or even things on your own you've noticed, and then put them back into the discussion board with the edits so we can talk about it. Like, for example, I could say, this line is too thick, or the blending here didn't match, or the values are off. I think something I'll do a lot is to say, look, this angle you have is off. And a lot of times you can even use a straight edge and kind of drag it over there. Another thing that happens a lot is people don't make their verticals correctly, especially with objects that are, this one's leaning, sort of artistically leaning because of the photo, but most of those glasses and metal things are vertical. So I would show you how, like, this box down here is really vertical and crisp. And if yours is leaning and the grid is no longer visible and it's still leaning and you can't rely on that grid, I'll be able to drag these along and say, hey, you got to crisp up that, use a T-square, use a ruler, whatever, put the grid back on. And then I can say, okay, this vertical is really crisp, this vertical. In this particular picture, those are the only ones. Of course, there's always a vertical within ellipses in some way, like even though this is not standing upright, there's no center axis, you could go this way and set your center axis through here so that all your ellipses will swing through here like a spiral. And I'll be able now to add other shapes. It's kind of like this thing I was doing on my phone, and like I said, I'm not the most technically savvy at all, but I'm learning these things that I can do to help you see what's accurate and what's not. Like this ellipse, if your glass was sitting vertically, it would be that way, but because it's on an angle, it wouldn't be. It would be a twisted ellipse around this. It would go like all the way spiraling up. Anyway, just more thoughts, and that's it.